All right, a car is traveling 40 meters per second. The driver sees an emergency ahead, and 0.5 seconds later, he slams on the brake. The acceleration of the car is 4 meters per second squares. So we've actually got a couple things to worry about here. Let's be clear. First, this is one that I'm actually going to draw a picture for. So here's what we're saying. The car travels for 0.5 seconds first. And so it has an initial speed of 40 all the way up to here. And still here, the speed is 40. And only then does the driver slam on the brakes and then reach a final speed of 0. So we don't know for the second part this time or anything like that. So let's first get the time, and we know the acceleration is 4. So let's get the total time the car travels before it stops. So to begin with, we need to start with the equation delta S equals Vt. We're going at a steady rate to start with for half a second. And so what we're going to end up getting is 20.0 meters, and then we slam on the brakes and come to rest. So this is for the first part. Now let's get the second part. And again, we could just do it this way. And to be clear, the deceleration of the car is 4, so I'll put a negative sign here to indicate that we're traveling forward, but the acceleration wants us to go backwards. And so for the second, so I'm going to call this delta S1 and delta S2. And for the second part, we have 1/2 times -4. We don't know the time, so we can't use this formula. Let's try a different formula. So we have V squared equals U squared plus 2A delta S. So we end up at a speed of 0 from a speed of 40 plus 2 times A, which is -4, times delta S. And so we're going to end up getting, for delta S, when we solve this, we're going to end up getting, I believe it's 200, but let me just double check that. Yep, we're getting 200 meters here. So we end up going a total distance of 220 meters. So that's part A. And then actually, if we continue with part B, we actually solved part B right here. So delta S is just the 200 meters. And finally, for part C, the difference is 20 meters. And now if the car was traveling 30, we want to ask whether the answer to C would be larger, equal, or greater than before. So let's actually, it's just without performing any calculations. So the answer to that, I'm going to suspect larger because it's the same acceleration, and so larger stopping distance because U was faster. So that's problem number 10.